besides that, just pretty much getting ready for November. November's gonna be fucking stacked. You know, next week we get Sonic Frontier and God of War Ragnarok. That's gonna be wild. Um, in about 2 to 3 weeks, we're gonna be getting Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So I already have like in my list. I already have 3 games that I'm gonna have to fucking juggle. And it's gonna be insane. Um, I guess to kind of leak into a little bit of news before we get to Andor. Apparently, there's some news coming out from people that got to test Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and apparently, to no surprise, that apparently it's questionably running on the Switch.
Oh no.
And it's not because the game is bad, it's because the Switch is an old system at this point.
There's like a Switch Pro now, right? That's probably what it's made for. Oh, it hasn't come out yet? I thought it came out already.
So what you're thinking of is the Switch OLED, which basically all it is, it's the current version of the Switch, but with an OLED screen.
Oh.
And a new dock
there was
that has an Ethernet port.
They push back to Switch Pro?
Switch Pro was never announced. It's just all speculation from other people.
God damn it. That's what I get for not following through with an article.
Yeah. So this led to a conversation about how a lot of people are kind of thinking that Nintendo needs to do something soon, whether that is a Switch Pro or just like whatever the next like Switch is, because it's
a Switch now.
The Switch came out in 2017.
Really?
It is that old. It came out in the halfway mark from the Xbox One and the PS4. So it's in that weird kind of like middle ground between the console generations. So like I said, when they made the newer SKU for the Switch, they did like a slight upgrade to like the processor and the battery, but besides that, everything is still the same since the original Switch. Even the OLED is just a screen update, and the dock is different a little bit. So there are games that have come out more recently that are starting to show the Switch's age. Because I mentioned before, Bayonetta 3 is one of those games where the game is decent, but you can tell that the Switch is holding it back. And we're getting reports that, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are getting held back a little bit by the Switch. And of course, in just a few more months, we're going to be getting the next Legend of Zelda game. And that's just going to be Breath of the Wild plus Sky.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be more. So it's just like, we need something, beefier. And I know it's hard right now because there's still, some minor like chip shortages and, parts and stuff. It takes a lot to make a console.
Yep.
But I don't know. You would think that with the game, like with like the new like Tears of the Kingdom coming out, like that would be the time to bring out like a new SKU or just like a new like the Switch Pro or something.
External hard drive for the Switch.
I think it needs more than that, dude.
Super dock system, improve your gameplay. No. What was the in-between game between Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild? There's like an another game.
It was the Link's Awakening remake.
Oh, there was another one. Fuck, it was like Hyrule, not Hyrule Warriors.
It was Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity.
Was Hyrule Warriors? Okay.
Yeah.
Age of Calamity. That I heard was buggy. I heard that was struggling with the Switch.
It's not
I didn't play it. I wouldn't know.
It's not so much that it was buggy. It's just that because of the Switch, its draw distance wasn't as much as you would think. Like like when you picture like a Dynasty Warrior, like a Musou like kind of game, you imagine just seeing like hordes of enemies out in the distance.
Yeah.
But because of the Switch, um, you know, you can see out to a certain extent before everything just kind of like starts to disappear. Or,
Yeah.
like the enemies start to disappear and everything starts to kind of start to slowly just kind of drop in like frames and shit like that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad, it's still very you can still, have it be serviceable, but when you think of like games like Dynasty Warriors and stuff like that, you think, of a grand scale battle,
Yeah.
but you know, it's the Switch couldn't handle all that shit.
Limited by the technology of its time.
Yeah. So I don't know. If you had to Joel, if you had to give like a ballpark estimate on when or if Nintendo would make like a newer version of the Switch, like where would like when would you think that would be too late in like the life cycle of the Switch?
Honestly, now
Yeah.
I've been thinking it was already out or they announced it. That's me for not staying up to date too. It's bad on me. But honestly, we're 5 years in. That's they churn out PS Slims and Xbox One S's or whatever like in 3 years, which to me is always like what a cash grab. But at the same time, it does make a difference. I mean, some of my friends are still using their old Xbox Ones. Mine was barely hanging in there. It was refurbished.
yours
Barely.
yours was on life support.
Shit, man. There's still a Sea of Thieves mission I haven't beat because of that Xbox crashed like 3 times during that mission. Thank you, my original one, for all the raids and shit and matches you survived. But god damn, like it was not made to last thousands of hours I put on it.
Oh, for sure.
And Switch, I don't play as much, so I play some fun games here and there. I'm pretty forgiving because I know it's not as high performance as what I expect from other things. But if a Pokemon game is struggling on the Switch, that's a little concerning. That's all.
No, of course we can't solely judge it on based on like a demo because we don't know when that thing was
Yeah,
processed. So
yeah,
for all we know, the launch version could be kind of like dialed in a little bit more. So we have to wait and
yeah.
see on that.
It'd be super
But
smooth. Yeah.
but yeah, like as much as I love my Switch, I was just playing Cult of the Lamb on it just like literally like an hour ago.
Oh yeah.
And so like I hope that at least sometime soon we'll get some kind of an answer, whether it's going to be a Switch Pro or if it's going to be like Switch 2 or, whatever they decide to do, because you can only you can only use that Nintendo Magic for so long until it starts really kind of, becoming a hinder to all your games.